Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. The subject is the construction materials for the first semester. I'm from the Department of Civil Engineering, SA Government Polytechnic. It is module 1 and session 7. It is about the preservation of stones. Before going to the preservation, we'll go to the introduction, the causes of decay of stones, introduction, retardation of decay to prevent how to preserve the stones. Then the properties of an ideal preservatives, types of preservatives, and last it is ending up with the references. The stones are obtained from the rocks. The building stones are sound rocks, which are easily used in constructions. The stone is known for its durability, strength, and hardness, as everyone knows. Then the buildings, the most of the important structures all over the nations are built up of uh, stones. That is, for example, all the forts, ancient temples, the Taj at Agra, Red Fort at Delhi, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, etc. So, the stones may be deteriorated. Our intention is to preserve the stone structures, for a long duration of time without changing its physical appearance, or that is not subjected to the weathering actions like various weathering agents. So the idea of preservation is the intention of preservation is to protect the structure against the action of weathering and to prolong the life of the stone by either restoring its physical integrity or by avoiding its decay. It can be maintained by maintaining the natural appearance of the facework or by the architectural value in order to maintain the architectural value of stone against the action of various weathering agents. The weathering agents, as you know, that can be rain, frost, wind, temperature changes, vegetable growth, chemical agents, the mutual decay that we are going to discuss it later. Then the different types of stones. It is not the kind of stones, the different treatments or different preservatives or different solutions are used for different types of stones in order to overcome its decay. And usually that is the coating of paraffin, linseed oil, light paint, etc. are applied over the surface. Before giving any treatment to the surface of the stones of different nature of stones, it is required to know the causes of decay. As whenever we want to give any treatment, if you are taking any treatment, it is necessary to know the cause behind it previously. So, in order to know to give a better preservation, it is necessary to know the decay of stones. The decay of stones is the various reasons causes for the decay is the alternate wetness and drying. Alternate wetness and drying, it is mainly due to the rains and the temperature variations. The alternate wetting of drying of stones causes the deterioration. The frost is nothing but at the cold regions, the freezing temperatures, the stone expands in volume and causes the splitting of stone. The impurities in atmosphere, the atmosphere contains various impurities, the acids and fumes, which have adverse effects on stones. The living organisms like worms, bacteria, act upon the stones and deteriorate them. The movement of chemicals, the stones which are used in the combinations side by side, for example, the limestone and the sandstone, when it is used together in the same structure, the chemicals formed due to the atmosphere or the effects of it is transferred from one part to the other variety of the stone. So it causes the deterioration again. The rainwater, the action of rainwater wets the surface of stone and it is dried by sunshine. It also causes the alternate wetness and rain result in the deterioration of stone. Then comes the temperature variation. The temperature variation, as the temperature increases, the rise in temperature expansion in the stone, and the fall of temperature causes the contraction. The rise and fall of the temperature are frequent, and some stones are easily deteriorated due to the setting up of internal stresses. As also the vegetable growth, the roots of creepers you might have observed in small gaps. You can see the roots of the trees or plants, creepers, for example, on the joints, which attract the moisture and keep the stone surface damp. At the same time, they expand also. So these are some of the pictures which is explaining, which are self-explanatory for the deterioration due to the various weathering agents. The precautions taken to retard the decay of stones. So the natural way of preserving the stones, in order to maintain the one of the best method of preservation of stones without using any preservatives, these are the certain methods we have to follow. That is, the compact siliceous stones can be used on the for the external surfaces of important buildings. Then the external rending. The other method can be the external rending with a pointing or plastering. The pointing and plastering should be done to the external surface at the time of construction. The joints are the weak points where it allows the atmospheric agents to penetrate through the surface and which causes the decay. So joint should be taken care. It should have a solid structure without hollows or cavities. The natural beds. The stone should be placed in position such a way that the loads act at right angles to the natural bed of stone. The qualities of stone is also considered. That is, the seasoning of the qualities of stones. That should be when the stones are taken from the quarries. It has a sap inside it, so that has to be well seasoned and well dressed in order to maintain its uh, appearance as well as the properties to in order to maintain its strength. The seasoning and the quality of stones is very much essential. Apart from that, we have to use a uniform. If you are using the uniformity size of stones instead of using the various sizes of stones in the stone masonry, so which increases the joints. So if you are avoiding the joints and making it a continuous and well finished surface stone masonry, it avoids if you are avoiding the joints, then it also uh, going to avoid the decaying of. Then the pointing and plastering. Then the size of the stones. If you are employing the large size of stones as far as possible to minimize the number of joints, these are the signs of weakness through which the water or the moisture will easy entry. Then the normally the easiest method or the cheapest economical method is to wash the surface of stone with water and make it clean frequently so that if it is washed at regular intervals, the dirts and the soluble salts which are deposited due to the weathering agents are can be reduced and thereby you can reduce the rate of decay. So these are the some of the methods which we are going to adopt during its constructions as well as maintenance without using any artificial methods of preserving. These are the ways to preserve the stones by avoiding the moisture into the surface stone. Growth of plants or points stones should be prevented. Building materials which are inactive with stones should be used. The structure to be preserved should be maintained by washing it frequently with water and the dirt and the salts as we have explained previously. It can be removed from time to time. So these are the natural ways, the natural methodologies which we are used to in order to avoid the decay and to maintain the structure. Apart from this, the other method of improving the preservation is by using certain materials or substances or chemical solutions, you can say, which prevent the decaying or which avoids the decaying or which can maintain the quality of the stone surface. We call that as a preservatives. So preservatives can be of different types or different kinds. These preservatives is applied on different surfaces. They should have some ideal characteristics. Let me see what are those. Initially, the preservative should not allow moisture to penetrate to the stone surface. Then, it should not develop objectionable color. The color of the preservative should not be retained on the stone surface when it is used. The color, it should not give an offensive odor also. Then, it has to be while applying the preservative, you should not feel uncomfortable. Then, it hardness sufficiently so as to resist the effects due to various weathering agents. It is easily penetrated in stone surface. That should be easily penetrated. Application on the stone surface should be easy. It should be the main thing is it should be economical. Then non-corrosive and it is harmless for the health, and it remains effective. The main intention is to remains it effective for a long time after drying. After drying, it should remain there for the effect should remain there for a longer period of time. These are the ideal characteristics of the preservatives. So we'll see what are the types of preservatives or commonly used preservatives used. The preservatives which are commonly adopted to preserve the stones are coal tar. Coal tar, it is as in the picture, it is dark in color. It is a byproduct of coke and coal gas from coal. It is applied on the stone surface. It preserves the stones, but the color of the coal tar produces objectionable appearance. The surface coating with the coal tar absorbs heat of the sun. Hence, the preservative is not generally adopted because it spoils the beauty of the stone. As we have suggested, the ideal characteristics of the preservative uh, is that should not give any objectionable. We should not spoil the beauty of the structure. So it is the coal tar here, even though it preserves the stone, this is the drawback. So it is not that advisable to commonly use the coal tar in all the important structures. The linseed oil, it is obtained from the seeds of flaxseed. It is a preservative used either as a raw linseed oil or boiled linseed oil. The raw linseed oil, if you are using, it should be used frequently or at least once in a year for the maintenance. The boiled linseed oil lasts for a long period of time and it makes the stone surface black. Then the other preservatives can be the paint, paraffin. The paint, as you have seen, the different of as the pointing is required for the structure or the plastering. The paint is also essential. It is also one of the major part of the construction, which helps in preserving the decay, preserving the stone from the decay. The paint should not, whatever the paint should not using, it should not use the original, change the original color of the stone. It is applied under the pressure. If it deep penetrates, penetration is required. The best paint use is acrylic paint. And then the paraffin. Paraffin is white in color or colorless. It is a solid mixture of hydrocarbons made from the petroleum. This preservative may be used alone or it may be dissolved in naphtha and it is applied on the stone surface. It changes the original color of the stone. Solution of alum and soap. The alum and soap solution are taken in a proportion of 0.75 normal and 0.50 normal respectively. They are dissolved in a liter of water. This solution, when applied on the zone surface, it acts as a preservative. The other solution can be solution of beta. Beta is sodium hydroxide. It is the sodium hydroxide when it is added with the caustic soda. It is applied when the decay of stone is due to the calcium sulfate. When it reacts with the calcium sulfate, it forms barium sulfate and carbon hydroxide. This carbon hydroxide absorbs carbon dioxide and forms calcium carbonate, which is very much which provides the strength to the stones. So this is also can be used as a best preservatives when the stone of decay is due to the calcium sulfate. As we have stated, the pointing and plastering, as we have explained in previously the methods of retarding the decay, the pointing and the plastering. The plaster prevents the atmospheric agencies coming in contact with the stone surfaces. Pointing prevents ingress of moisture or rainwater while in the decay. Silicate, the last part what we have discussed is silicate coatings. The silicate coatings, it is a solution which is available. The solution is available and directly applied to the surface by brushing or spraying. The alternative method is that stone faces are washed with a solution of silicate of soda or potash and allowed to dry on the surface. The solution of calcium chloride is applied on the dry surface. This coating is insoluble and air and moisture. It is a the coating is insoluble and air and moisture repellent. It will not allow the air. So it opposes the air or the moisture to enter the surface, stone surface, thereby avoiding the decay to certain extent. So these are some of the methods of preserving the stones by using the preservatives, and hence you can maintain the strength and durability of the structure and to enhance or the life of the structure. So this is about the preservatives. Thank you. The MCQs, it is followed by MCQs. So as we have discussed, so far we have discussed about about um, the preservatives, what should be the use, the decays. We are not going in depth with the decays because decay of stones and retardation of stones. The major intention is the preservation of stones. We have to discuss some of the questions based on the preservatives. The application of which preservative makes the stone surface dark. Is it a paint, B coal tar, paraffin, linseed oil? The answer can be, the answer is which application of which preservative makes the stone surface dark. So it is a linseed oil. The next one, the preservative which produces objectionable appearance and observes heat of sun is a coal tar, paraffin, linseed oil, paint. The answer here is coal tar. As preservative, the solution of alum and soap taken in a proportion. What should be the proportion of this in a solution? That is 0.75 normal and 0.50 normal. B 0.50 normal and 0.75 normal. C 0.50 N and 0.25 normal. D 0.50 normal and 0.50 normal. Again the 0.50. The answer is A 0.75 N and 0.50 Um, an ideal preservative should be, what is that? Non-corrosive and harmless, corrosive and harmless. It should be, as we have listed out, we have stated out, it is non-corrosive and that is harmless to the human life. A solution of barium hydroxide is used when decay of stone is due to calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, barium sulfate, sodium chloride. It is a decay of stone due to the barium hydroxide. Barium hydroxide, when it is mixed with, it is used as a, when it can be used when the decay is due to calcium sulfate. It forms, then it forms the calcium hydroxide and barium uh, sulfate. So that calcium hydroxide is converted into calcium carbonate there, so which acts as an insoluble and which acts as a protective layer which prevents the ingress of air and atmospheric agents and is the what we have discussed. Then the stone should be seasoned. Why it is required to season? In order to accelerate the decay or retard the decay, retardation of decay. What it should be? It is the retardation of decay. This is one of the method of methodology where we have to employ to in order to come out of the decaying of stone. As we discussed, the Bandhakwaris, it has a swag or weathering, it attracts the moisture, so that should be avoided. The external rendering such as porosity and plastering should be done at any time, at the time of construction, at the time of construction, after the construction, all of the above. So the external rendering is done at the time of construction. A good stone percentage water absorption. For a good stone, the percentage of water absorption by weight and the water absorption is test is done for 24 hours usually. For a 24 hours duration, the percentage of water absorbed by the stone should not exceed A 0.25, B 0.50, C 0.60, D 0.75. So it is the 60% 0.60. Next one, the dash of line which forms insoluble film which helps to protect the stones. Hydroxide, silicate, carbonate, none of the. So it is the silicate of lime which forms insoluble film. The preservatives which changes original color of the stone. Paint, the paraffin, the coal tar, the alum. So it is the paraffin. So these are the answers listed at the end of the MCQs. You can go through this. So this is all about the preservation of stones, the references, the engineering materials by Ranwala, engineering materials by Dugal, the materials of construction by Vishwanath, are the books used. I thank to all the team members and the coordinators of moderators of materials of construction, Sridhar Murthy sir, Jairam sir, Lakshman sir, and all the content developers. Thank you. 25 minutes ಆಗಿದೆ